Welcome back, and in today's video we're going to be painting our mischievous spooky boy Loki from Marvel Crisis Protocol. And this video is jumping ahead in line of all my other videos because Marvel's Loki show is now on Disney Plus. So I think it'd be a cool little synergy just to kind of have both of these out on the same day. So let's get started. So we're gonna start off with his flesh, and we're gonna go with this Gilliman's flesh. I find it's pretty good. It's a pretty good color for pale pasty boys, or gender fluid people, if that's what they're saying he is now, or they are now. So let's just. But I'm going to continue to call him probably Boy on Accident because I follow the comic books, and this version of Loki is that. He does have many forms. He has been reincarnated as a woman in the comic books before. So, just some little fun facts for you. So let's get the skin all painted on here. And it's just a little contrast paint, so it's just like a little quick little brush, and then he's got skin. Okay. Now let's move to the pants, gloves, and hair, which we'll be using a black gray for. I might use like a pure black for his hair, so we'll see, stand by on that. But for sure the pants are going to be this black gray, and his gloves are going to be this black gray. We're using a fairly small brush, not the smallest brush that we have, but definitely not the biggest either, because we want to get on these models, you're not just like for Marvel Crisis Protocol, you're not just batch painting a ton of people at the same time, so you can take your time on your characters more, like we have in the past with our other characters, versus, batch painting 100 dudes at once, because that gets a little crazy. In other news, I've been slowly chipping away at my Night Haunt army, trying to get that to completion, because tickets for Las Vegas Open just went on sale for 2022. And if you're interested, they have competitions for all sorts of games. The Marvel Crisis Protocol is one. They have Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k, Bolt Action. If it's a miniature game and it's popular, it's probably there. And it's a tournament for the said game. But we will be playing in the Age of Sigmar championships, and we will be using our Night Haunts. So that's going to be fun. So I'm going to have lots of practice matches and stuff this year to get myself ready, especially when 3.0 comes out for Age of Sigmar, which should prove interesting. Just make sure you get all that white covered up. He's also got some bits in there that you can kind of see. Okay, and then he's got some gloves on. Let me just see if there's anything on top of the gloves. There is not. So just be careful and try not to get on the skin parts that we just painted. But accidents happen, so it's okay if they do. Don't panic. Nobody panic. I find it's easier to hold my breath when I'm going into these areas. But, make sure you remember to breathe. It's the important thing. Breathing is important. Today's tip, breathing is important. So I got one hand, and let's get our other hand. Just, you can kind of see the bumps of the sculpt on here for the gloves, so just try to get as close to those as possible. If you get a little shaky or worried, just, don't go all for it. Just don't go for it. Especially with contrast paint, it's harder to fix mistakes because it has to be on like a white or gray surface. So it's better to just use caution instead of just going crazy. Like usually we'll do a color and we'll be like, okay, we can go over that later. Contrast is hard in that sense where you can't really go back over it. Okay, so we got that. I think we'll go pure black for his hair because looking at this now, I think it'll probably look better as pure black. So we'll get to that in a bit. So I think the next lowest level of thing is going to be the metallic silvers on him, like his chainmail. So we're gonna use this gunmetal color. We're just attacking this in layers, like the lowest level first and just working our way up, because that's how we're gonna be able to fix our mistakes if we go outside the lines and stuff like that. So let's just load up our brush and then brush in our chainmail bits. And then there's got some more on the arms. Same thing here. Okay. Now let's get his little belt, since that thing is like it's on its own little level there. So we'll use this leather brown color to get the little belt on him really quick. It's okay if we get the buckle because we'll go back over it later with our gold. Once we get there, oops. You guys, you're supposed to tell me I missed this whole spot right here. I missed a whole hip pad on there. So let's get some of our paint. Our paint's not dry or anything yet because we just had it down. So just fill up that area. And we hit his pants really quick on accident. So just grab some of the paint and just go back over that. Cool. Okay, so now we're gonna do the green of the coat, I think. Yeah, because it has a lot of gold trim on it. So I think for the coat, we're gonna try this Warp Lightning contrast paint out. I've only used it once on another thing and I didn't like it, but we'll see how it turns out here. I think it'll look good on him because he's got like lots of folds and stuff. And it's kind of a dark green. I think that will work good for him. So let's just get that and then start on the coat here. Ooh, I think I like it. We can kind of just paint over some big areas because there is a lot of overlapping areas, but it's okay. The gold should be able to pick all that stuff up. Let's see, I'm just trying to gauge what is what here before I commit my brush to it. So just get right here. Who knows, if you want to use that excuse of like, now it looks more magical, right? Like he's got like a magical cloak on versus like just a regular old people cloak. So let's just make sure we're getting in there and making sure we're getting all the white spots that we don't want to leave, because they will stand out like a sore thumb. And there. I mean, you might, if you do, like how we can't really pick out the corners and edges right now. You might want to just commit and just cover them so that way you have a consistent gold color over the whole thing too. Because when we go over it with the gold, you know, if there's a green underlay on it, it might look different than if it was white. So those are just things to consider when you're painting. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit better grip here. Just clean that up. Just trying to get under here the best I can. Oop, let me see here. Here we go. Oops, I got some on his shoe, but that's fine. Okay, then we just continue on here. This also helps to have reference next to you, like the box that it came in. I do not currently have that next to me right now, and I don't know where it is. So, you know, I like following my own advice, and also sometimes I like not following my advice. So, but I'll look for it because I don't know if this is gold or if this is green. I think it's gold. I think we're gonna leave it gold. You know, you don't have to copy it exactly. Remember, at the end of the day, it's still art, right? So if you, however you want it is how it's supposed to be. I think this green's turning out pretty good. I think I like it. It definitely stands out. Now, I don't think I would use this green on Hella that also came in the same pack as he did, but you know how it is. He also has this little teeny collar, like right here and here. So let's just get those. Okay. So that is our green. Let me make sure I got, no. Let's make sure I got this whole thing, but I didn't. Okay. Now we'll move on to, we'll get the hair. since we're gonna go to the gold after that, and the hair is under the gold, so we want the hair first. So just regular black. He's got that jet black hair. So this is sorry, let me make sure I get that in there. And just start slowly going over the hair, trying your best not to hit the other sections that we've already painted. You know, and try not to hit the stuff that we have painted too. I mean, that's white if you're trying to make a consistent color, right? So like the gold, like I was talking about, having a black also in that mix might darken our gold more than we want it to be. And basically I'm just kind of buying time while the contrast paint dries, because we're going to be painting over it a lot with our golds to get those like highlighted areas done. Let's just get in there. He's got like this fur, so we'll get the fur after this. Should have probably gotten it first, but you know. Okay, cool. Now let's get up here. Some little spots in the front here. There we go. The hair. There's a white spot right here that we need to deal with. Okay, now let's get the fur. And we'll use our German camo beige World War II. I really like this color for furs and a lot of stuff, actually, like little straps. It does a really good job. Its color is nice, and when you wash it with a color, with a brown, it brings it out a lot more. It looks really good, in my opinion. So he's got his little coat there. And I lost the paint for a second. I was like, where did I put it? Hate when that happens. Okay, so we got the furs done. Probably go a little bit more in here because it has some of the contrast on it. Cool. Now let's go with our gold, and we're gonna start on the areas that are away from the coat, just to keep giving it as much time as we can to dry. So we're gonna use brassy brass for our gold. It's not actually gold at all, it's gonna be brass. But we do our little washes at the end that'll kind of bring it out a lot more and make it glow more like a gold. Let's get some on our brush here. Let's start at the boots. And this one is in little ice magic that he's got going on. That we'll take care of when we finish the rest of him. Because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, are we just going to do a contrast paint over the top of it? Probably. I'm trying to think of any other way to do it. I could do like a white with like a blue wash and then like more white on top of it, but I think contrasts are really good. I think for me anyway, it's selling like the magical glowiness of things. They also work well as washes, which if you've watched some of my older videos, you will see that that's what I use them as for the most part, is I use them for washes. Okay, let's put a little thicker bit on there, where that green was. Oops, sorry. You know, Loki kind of reminds me of Dennis from It's Always Sunny, just like in the chaotic way that he is. I was like, that'd be funny, because then he's also I was thinking like he's a shining golden god. But that's only if you watch It's Always Sunny that you'll understand that reference. And you can see that we have some white here still, so we'll fix that in a second. Just get the rest of this down, which I think we did. Okay, so now we'll just clean up around those legs really quick strike while the iron's hot, I guess, right? So let's just go there, just kind of wrap it around. Okay. Okay. My neighbor has decided to start sawing things or whatever, so that's fun. Now we're just using a light touch on this, not pushing hard, and just letting it barely kiss the surface of this to get that line as best we can. I would say, this is like what I usually try to do, but it is hard sometimes. See, especially you can see I'm starting to bleed into the metal. So the metallics a little bit, but I think in the little creaks, the little ends there, it's not as big of a deal because we are washing this at the end, and that the washes should pool towards the bottom. That'll make it so that you can kind of hide your crimes a little bit. And just carefully using the very, very tip of my brush and just trying to get there the best I can. Okay, I don't think the wash is quite, the contrast is quite there yet. So let's move to this little piece right here. And getting back here is going to be a little tricky. But you see, you don't have to. Like, I mean, you can just weigh the options and be like, are you really gonna see it? Like, are you really gonna see like in there? Probably not. So you can skip it, most likely. All right, let's get the bulk part right here. Again, we're just giving it time to rest, like giving it a little bit of dry time on the contrast paint while we're doing this. At home, you have the luxury of, you know, just walking away. But I'm literally the day before the show gets released, so I kind of have to rush a little bit on this guy. But that's what we do on this channel, right? We do shit fast. So I looked at a picture online for like 2 seconds just to get like where the colors are supposed to go. And now we're just executing it on the model now as best we can. Okay, so we finished that. So let's go for the helmet now. And I'm just feeling out really quick where the helmet is and where the hair is right here. So just playing with it. Just same on this side. Just be careful when you're by the face. Okay. I think this might be like a little, this might have just been me missing something, but we're painting it like that now. And we can fix the hair easy, like it's just black paint. So black paint will cover everything that we do really easily. Yeah, just gotta be careful on the front here. Try your best not to hit the contrast paint on the face because of those reasons that we talked about earlier, is that it needs to be on white paint for contrast to really work. Let's get the little horns here. My arms are getting tired. I'm going a little bit too intense on this guy. Just need to relax a little bit more. Oops. Just trying my best to make sure I get all the white off here. Okay. There we go. There's the helmet. I'll do with the black paint really quick. Grab some black paint and fix the hair really quick that we hit back here. And anywhere else that we may have touched, but I think we did a pretty good job there. Okay. Is that? Okay. Sometimes the light hides some stuff from me, so I gotta just sometimes go back and do a little fix on some things. Okay, now we gotta get this cloak all finished out. So taking our gold and see how it's showing up on this screen though? Like we were talking about earlier, that it is a lot darker. We're trying to paint over. So I have to use a little bit heavier of a hand. When going into this. You could also, not use gold. You could use a yellow, and that might pop easier on this than this gold will. Oops. And we can get the whole bottom here, because it is like a gold trim on the bottom. So we can just kind of do this. Oops. Hopefully not do it that bad. And then just start bringing that paint through to the rest of the model here. So let's just get the bottom. Just get the bottom so you know that you have it. And then just start following the lines. And like try to favor the bottom as much as possible, because that's what's going to get you, that way you don't over paint that much. Yeah, I know there's still a lot back here we have to get. We have to get this guy right here. Oh. My cat says it is my turn. And we can get it on this staff because the staff will be gold. So don't worry about hitting the staff. I know you might have been worried about it this whole time. I got you. I got you. Paint it gold. Okay, and then we gotta get this guy here to attach it to the rest of those. We're almost there. We're almost there. Now we gotta get this side. Again, favor the bottom as much as you can. And that'll help you keep it together. Keep it together. And then you can kind of go through here. Okay, and then we just have to get that little guy right there. That does his cape, or his cloak. Now we gotta get his little arm pads. And then we're on our home stretch. So don't get too comfortable. If you get too comfortable, that's when mistakes happen. So just, still do what you were doing before. You've been fine up to this point. But now your hands shake. Now your hand's starting to shake. So this is what you gotta grab on as tight as you can to your model. And then just go for those lines. We got a little bit right there, but it's not the end of the world. And then we just go for this staff here. And we'll get that Orby in a second. But you can just go crazy on this guy, get this thing painted. Watch out for the hands and the cloak when you're painting. You don't want to accidentally hit those and ruin all your work that you've been doing this whole time. These last 35 minutes. My brush is getting a little dry, so I'm gonna get it some paint on it, redo the painting on it. Okay, and then we go here, and I like to just push towards our little borders that we have here on the hand. And the contrast paint kind of looks like the same color as the gold, so we can get away with not having to go too far in there because the contrast paint did it for us. It's gonna be interesting to see how many channels do a Loki video tomorrow. I just so happened to have this model just in my house because I wanted Hela earlier for my teams, and I was like, I had him, and I was like, oh yeah, Loki's coming out tomorrow. I should do some type of synergy thing. Now you can leave a little white back there to be careful. If you're a little bit worried about hitting your model, it's fine. No one's gonna see it really. So take it off this, and then I'm just gonna go over where I got some of the green, and just kind of make sure I'm getting the spots that you can see. And maybe getting a little risky in there, but okay. I think that's good. Let's really quick try to do some touch up with our green here, because I did notice a spot. Let me just make sure that snaps in there. Okay. Back here that did not get any green on it. And then we had that little mishap up here that maybe that'll work over. Right, cool. Now we got to do some washes to get these colors all nice and togethered. So let's get our Agrax Earthshade. And this is what we use for we use it for the fur and the chainmail on him. So let's just push it in here, and you can see that it's calling out all those little pieces for us. Giving it that nice little worn metal look. And then for our fur here, we're just going to use it. We're using it to pull out the texture as much as we can. It'll also, it'll add those shadows in there and make it look like we did a lot more than we actually did. Okay. And now we go to the golds, which require a wash of Reikland Flesh Shade. This is like a reddish wash that really shines up the golds in my experience. So here's the gold here, and then we're just gonna boop over the top. It's gonna give us a nice shine and fill in those recesses. Something on this one. Make sure you get all of it around so that you have a consistent color throughout. It's going to be a little difficult on the thingies, on the trim, so we can get this in the hair a little bit because it's black and it won't show up, so it's fine. Just grab it and then push it along. Okay, now we can try our best here. We're trying to do the same thing that we did earlier, just lightly going over it with our brush to get it to sink in there. And remember, you can favor one side over another. That'll help it, especially if you have a darker color on the other side, like this black right there. So we'll be able to avoid as much spillage as possible. Get down here. You can let gravity do the work for you too. Like a lot of it's water, right? So it's watery, so it's gonna fall down. You don't have to do all the gold. You can just pick and choose some of it if you want. We didn't put the brown wash in there, did we? We didn't. It's okay, we'll get it. We'll go back. Okay, and then just take this, brush it into here. Let's get, what did I say I was gonna do? Oh yeah, the brown. Thanks guys, you reminded me. Just get a little bit, and then we're just gonna go over the tops here. Just to get those, just to get the details to come out. Okay. Now we're gonna wait for some of this to dry. So while we're doing that, we're gonna get our black, which we have some on here still, but I like to do all the rims on these guys black and paint the top later. So we'll just turn it like that. So I'll paint the cement color with the medium sea gray later, but for now, I like to get, because this will fill in all the little cracks for us, and I like the nice framing of a black rim on my models. You gotta try to get into these little cracks here. Get more paint down. You know, like I'm not a huge Loki fan, I'll be honest. You know, I like the good guys anyway. I like the good guys mostly anyway. But you know, if Marvel makes a show, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, they haven't done us dirty yet. I don't expect them to start doing it anytime soon, so it should be good. But you know, I have no expectations, so that's good too, because in that way it it's only up from there, right? It can only impress me at this point. Okay, there's the black base. And then we'll do our ice now with the Athletic Blue contrast paint. And some of this might spill into the black, which is fine, because that's gonna... You don't have to go all the way to the end either. This is ice, right? So you can have some of it be white still. I'm just wiping off my brush after each one, just in case I did get black in it. I don't want to dip that into my contrast paint bucket and then have it just ruin the contrast paint. So just be conscious of that kind of stuff when you're... Ooh, see how I got black paint there? Just clean that up, and then... We can leave it kind of white towards the end there. Just get the inside now. Cool. And then the finishing touch on the gem, we're gonna get a nice green on there. If you follow me and you watch my Skaven videos, we're going to use the same green. Ooh, not that one, because that one doesn't work very well. We use this one, Escorpina Green. It's a really nice, bright, kind of neon green. I like to use it for stuff like this. Why is there cat hair here? And just... dot it in there. The wash was still a little wet, so it's fine, it's fine. And then what we can do is get some white, some of our matte white. Just a little bit, don't need a lot. And then put like a dot on it at some point. And there we have it. That is Loki from Marvel Crisis Protocol. Stick around for our turnaround. And then as always, we'll see you every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.